I need to ask you something before you decide to keep listening. What would you do if your phone rang at 3 in the morning and the voice on the other end was your wife, the woman you buried 30 years ago? Because that's exactly what happened to me. I hadn't slept well that night. At my age, sleep comes in pieces. I was staring at the ceiling, listening to the old house settle, when my phone lit up on the nightstand. Unknown number, 3 a.m. Nobody calls at that hour with good news. I almost ignored it. Then I heard it. My name. Soft? Familiar, the way only one person ever said it. "Don't hang up," the voice said. "Please." My heart slammed, so hard I thought it might crack a rib. It was her, my wife, Ellen, dead for 30 years. I didn't speak. I couldn't. I just sat there, phone pressed to my ear, hands shaking like they belonged to someone else. "I know this sounds impossible," she said, "but you need to listen." The room felt smaller, the air heavier. I told myself it had to be a prank, a recording, some cruel mistake. But then she laughed, that little breathy laugh she made when she was nervous. I hadn't heard that sound since the hospital room went quiet in 1994. "I don't have much time," she said. "They told me this might work." I didn't believe them either. That wasn't the worst part. She knew things no one else could know. She mentioned the blue coffee mug. I broke the week after her funeral. The one with the chipped handle I kept anyway. She asked if I'd finally fixed the loose step on the back porch. I hadn't. She sighed just like she used to. "You never did get around to that," she said. I felt tears running down my face, but I wasn't sobbing. I was frozen. "Ellen," I finally whispered, "if this is a joke—" "It's not," she said gently. "And I'm not who you think I am anymore." That sentence stayed with me. She didn't say she was alive. She didn't say she was a ghost. She said she wasn't who I thought she was. Then she told me why she called. "Something is coming," she said, "and you need to be ready." That's when fear replaced disbelief. She explained that the call wasn't really a call, not the way we understand it. She said her voice was part of something left behind, a message delayed, triggered. I didn't understand any of it, but she kept talking, calm and steady, like she always was when I panicked. After I died, she said, "You stopped living." That hurt more than anything else she'd said. She wasn't wrong. I worked. I ate. I slept, but I didn't live. "You stayed loyal to memory," she said, "and you forgot the rest of your life." I wanted to argue. I wanted to tell her I'd done my best. But the truth sat between us, heavy. She told me she had recorded messages, dozens of them, with help from someone who believed in planning for impossible things. 3 days from now, she said, "you'll receive something in the mail." I asked her what it was. She paused. "You won't want to open it," she said, "but you must." Then her voice softened. "I loved you," she said. "I still do. But loving me isn't your job anymore." I broke then. I laughed and cried at the same time, a sound I didn't recognize coming from my own mouth. "I miss you," I said. "I know," she replied. "That's why I did this." The line went quiet. No goodbye. No explanation. Just silence. I sat there until the skies started to lighten, the phone still warm in my hand. The next day, I checked my call log. There was nothing. No missed call. No incoming number. Like it never happened. I told myself I imagined it. Grief does strange things. But then the mail came. A small package. No return address. Inside was a flash drive and a note in Ellen's handwriting. Not copied. Not printed. Her handwriting. It said, "For the man I loved, play this when you're ready." I didn't plug it in right away. I carried it around the house for hours. Every room held a memory. Every corner whispered her name. Finally, as the sun went down, I sat at the old desk she used to write letters at. My hands shook as I plugged it in. The screen lit up. A folder opened. And there they were. Videos. Dated. Years into the future. Some labeled with dates I hadn't reached yet. One labeled tomorrow. Another labeled 1 year from now. Another labeled when you think you're done. I clicked the first one, and Ellen smiled at me from the screen. Alive. Warm. Real. That's when I realized something that took my breath away. She hadn't called to haunt me. She called to guide me. But the final video, the one marked "Do Not Watch Alone," that's the one that changed everything. And that's where I'll stop, because what she said next forced me to make a choice I never expected to face. Before I pressed play on that final video, I did something I hadn't done in years. I stood up. My knees protested, my back complained, but I stood anyway, like my body knew what was coming, and didn't want me sitting down for it. The file name stared back at me. Do not watch alone. I laughed under my breath, a dry, nervous sound. Ha! Of course you'd say that. I muttered, even now. But I was alone. Everyone I knew was asleep or gone. So I clicked it. The screen flickered. Then Ellen appeared. She was older than in the first video, gray at her temples, lines near her eyes. This one had been recorded close to the end. She looked straight into the camera, like she was looking straight into me. "If you're watching this," she said. Then the call worked. My chest tightened. "So I'll skip the apologies," she continued. "You never liked them anyway." She smiled, a small one, a tired one. "I need to tell you the truth now," she said. The part one couldn't say out loud. She took a breath. "When I got sick," she said, "I knew I was leaving you too early. I felt my throat close. I also knew you," she went on. "You hold on. You freeze. You survive instead of living." She wasn't cruel. She was honest. "So I planned," she said, "for years." Quietly. She explained the videos weren't just memories. They were instructions. Not orders, invitations. "There are people coming into your life," she said. "People you haven't met yet. People you will want to push away." I shook my head. "No," I whispered. "You're wrong." She smiled again. "I'm not," she said softly. Then her expression changed, serious now. "The reason I told you not to watch this alone," she said, "is because you're going to need someone after." My heart started racing. She told me about the box, a real box, hidden in the garage, she said, behind the old paint cans you never threw out. I almost laughed through my tears. She was right, they were still there. "That box holds letters," she said, "for other people." I blinked. "Not love letters," she added quickly. "Not like ours." She leaned closer to the camera. "They're letters of forgiveness," she said, "and they're not all for you." That hit me hard. She named names, my brother, my son, a friend I stopped speaking to after a stupid argument 20 years ago. "Some of them hurt you," she said. "Some you hurt." I felt something twist inside me. "You don't have to deliver them," she said. "But if you don't, you'll stay exactly where you are." Then she said something that made my hands go cold. "There's one letter," she said, "that you won't want to read at all." She looked away from the camera for a second. "That one is for you," she said. "From me. From now." The video ended just like that. No music, no fade. I sat there staring at my reflection in the dark screen. I didn't move for a long time. Finally, I went to the garage. The door groaned like it always had. The light flickered before settling. Behind the paint cans, just like she said, was a small wooden box. I lifted it. It was heavier than I expected. Inside were envelopes, carefully labeled, carefully sealed, and one with my name. My hands shook. I didn't open mine yet. Instead, I picked one at random, my brother's. We hadn't spoken since Mom's funeral, pride, stupidity. I drove to his house the next morning. He opened the door and froze when he saw me. We stared at each other like mirrors from another life. "I'm not here to fight," I said. I have something for you." He read the letter while I stood on the porch. His shoulders started to shake. He wiped his eyes fast, embarrassed. "She always liked you better," he said, trying to smile. I laughed, a real one this time. "Ha, no, she just knew you needed it." He hugged me. We stood there longer than men usually do. That wasn't the worst part. The worst part came when I finally opened my letter. Back home, alone, I sat at the kitchen table. Her handwriting filled the page. She told me she was proud of me. She told me she forgave me for the years I checked out after she died. Then she wrote the line that broke me. I didn't leave you to be remembered. I left you to be reborn. I wept, not quiet tears, deep ones, the kind that leave you empty and full at the same time. At the bottom of the letter was one last instruction. On Friday, she wrote, go to the diner on Maple Street at 9 a.m. I frowned. The old diner had been closed for years. Or so I thought. Friday morning, I went anyway. The lights were on. Inside, a woman sat alone at the counter. She looked up when I entered and smiled like she'd been waiting. That's when I realized Ellen wasn't done guiding me, not even close. And what that woman said next, that's something I still haven't told anyone. Yet,